What's up, Nortanista? Hello, Brain and Learners! Welcome sa isa na namang episode na punong-puno ng kaalaman, mundo ng numbers, at inyong pag-uusapan. Kaya ano pang hinihintay nyo? Halina, matuto! Are you ready for fun-filled discussion? I am your math teacher for today's episode. I am Sir Ramos. Get your learner's packet, your answer sheet, and stay tuned at HALINA'T MATH-TUTO, only here at Las Marinas North National High School.
Okay class, so quadratic equation, solving quadratic equation by extracting square roots and factoring. In quarter 1 of week 1, we will talk about the concept of quadratic equation, how to transform it into a standard form, as well as identifying the values of a, b, and c, or variable a, b, and c in a quadratic equation. We will also discuss on how to identify the difference between a linear equation and a quadratic equation. Lastly, we will solve quadratic equation by extracting square roots and factoring. Bago tayo magsimula, siguraduhin hawak ninyo ang inyong ballpen, scratch papers para masundan ninyo ang ating talakayan. Are you guys ready? Let's start. Now we will do introduction on quadratic equation. So this one is an important topic for grade 9 student, and I hope na matulungan ko kayo for answering your modules. Let's have this given equation. Y is equal to 4x plus 7 and 2x plus 5y is equal to 15. What do you call this kind of equation? Yes, very good. These are called linear equation. Linear equation is an equation in the form ax plus by plus c is equal to 0, where a, b, and c are real numbers, and the highest degree of a linear equation is 1. How about this equation? Let's consider 2x squared plus 8k, 2x squared plus 8x is equal to 10, and a squared minus 36 is equal to 0. M squared minus 4m minus 12 is equal to 0. Can we consider them as linear equation? No, because the highest degree given is not 1, but it is 2. This is known as quadratic equation. What is a quadratic equation? A quadratic equation in one variable is a mathematical sentence in the form a x squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0, where a, b, and c are real numbers, and a must not be equal to 0. Let's have this example. So for example, activity number 1, tell whether the given equation is linear or not. And if not, we will justify. So for example number 1, y is equal to 4x plus 7. Is it linear or not linear? So the answer for number 1, pakilagay sa inyong mga papel, is linear. For number 2, a squared minus 36 is equal to 0. Is it linear or not linear? Very good. Not linear. Why is it not linear? Because the highest degree is 2. And it is a quadratic equation. And for the third example, 2x squared plus 8x is equal to 10. What is the answer? That is not linear. Why? Because, again, its highest degree is 2. And it is not a linear. Very good. Next, here's the thing in quadratic equation. A quadratic equation in the variable x is a second-degree polynomial equation that can be written in standard form ax squared plus bx plus c is equals to 0, where a, b, and c are all real numbers. Here's the thing, quadratic equation, dapat second-degree polynomial equation. Ibig sabihin, meron siyang second degree. Sa linear, first degree. And then sa quadratic, second degree.
To continue our discussion, let's consider this question. How do we solve for a known variable in a quadratic equation? Let's say we have this equation, x squared minus 25. What mathematical concept can we use for it? Before we proceed, let's recall first the concept of square root. According to Mathematics Dictionary, square root is the number that when you multiply to itself, it will give us the value. For example, square root of 4 is equals to 2 because 2 times 2 is equal to 4. Square root of 100 is equal to 10 because 10 times 10 is equal to 100.
Okay, in solving quadratic equation by extracting square roots. So, ito yung mga reminders sa atin pag ito yung gagamitin natin way of solving quadratic equations. Number 1. So, reminder, before using the square roots property, make sure that the equation is in form x squared is equal to k. What does it mean? Naka-isolate na yung variable sa ating constant or dun sa ating real number. Meaning to say, yung may square, nakahiwalay na siya dun sa ating k. So, ito yung step 1, equation must be in the form x squared is equal to k. And step 2, use the square root properties. And last, solve for the value of x. Also, class, use a square root property for any real number if k, if x squared is equal to k, then x is equal to positive and negative square root of k. So, kukuhanin natin parehas yung value ng k. And x squared is equal to k. If k is greater than 0, meron tayong dalawang real solution. If k is equal to 0, meron tayong one real solution. And if k is less than 0 or negative, we have no real solution. Let's proceed.
Okay class, so our topic is solving quadratic equation by extracting square roots. Why do we need to solve for the quadratic equation? So basically, we need to solve for it for us to know the value of the variables in the equation. So, number 1, x squared plus 7 is equal to 7. In example number 1, we need to know how can we isolate the number with variable to the other side. In example number 1, x squared plus 7 is equal to 7. We need to think on how can we isolate the coefficient with the variable to the other side. In example number 1, x squared plus 7 is equal to 7. We need to think on a way on how can we isolate number with variable to the other side of equation. So Here, we need to put negative 7 on both sides, and our answer would be x squared is equal to 0. Here we have x squared is equal to 0. We will get the square root of x and square root of 0. So, kaya siya tinawag na extract ng square root. We will extract the square roots of the equation. So, x, square root of x squared is x, and square root of 0 is equal to 0. On number 2, x squared plus 5 is equal to 41. On the left side, number with variable, and on the right side, the coefficient. So we need to isolate x squared from 5. So we will put negative 5 on both sides. So x squared is equal to 36. And we will extract the square roots. So square root of x and square root of 36. And we will have x is equal to 6. But always remember here to put positive and negative. So we will have the answer positive 6 and negative 6. Same with x is equal to negative 6 and positive 6. Sir, bakit hindi ko ginawa yun here sa 0? Because 0 is a neutral number. Walang positive, walang negative. Unlike square root of 36, which is 6, pwedeng negative 6 times negative 6 is 36, and positive 6 times positive 6 is also equal to 36. Sa example number 3, 16x squared is equal to 1. Here, isolated na yung variable sa term. So, all we need to do here is to eliminate 16 dun sa x. So, we will divide both sides by 16. So, ang matitira, simplify natin, x squared is equal to 1 over 16, and square both sides. So we will have the answer x is equal to positive negative 1. Square root of 1 is 1 over square root ng 16 is 4, which is our final answer. Next example is example number 4. 9x squared minus 36 is equal to 0. So we need to eliminate 36 on the left side. So we will add 36 on both sides of equations, and we will simplify this. 9x squared is equal to 36. Okay, so we need to eliminate 9 on the left side of the equation. So we will divide both sides by 9. So cancel. X squared is equal to 36 divided by 9 is equal to 4. Now we will have the square root of x and square root of 4. Square root of x is x, and our final answer is positive and negative 2.
Okay class, ito naman, in solving quadratic equation by factoring. So ito yung mga steps na kailangan natin malaman kapag gagamitin natin yung quadratic equation by factoring. Step number 1, write the quadratic equation in standard form if necessary. So kapag hindi pa siya naka-standard form, isusulat lang natin siya into standard form, which is ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. Next, factor the quadratic expression. So, ipa-factor natin or hahanapan natin yung factor nung nasa kabilang side ng ating quadratic equation. Next, apply the zero product property by setting each factor of the quadratic expression equal to 0. And number 4, solve for the resulting equation. And last step is to check the value of the variable obtained by substituting each in the original equation. Diyan natin malalaman kung ang nakuha ba natin roots or solution is tama or mali.
In our example, x squared minus 6x plus 8, we'll have to follow the steps on solving quadratic equation by factoring. So the first step is to write it on standard form. But as you can see, the problem or the equation is already on standard form. So we will follow the next step, which is factor the quadratic expression. So here, we'll have 2 parentheses is equal to 0. So next is to write x multiplied by x on the first term of the binary. Next, we will think of factor of 8 na kapag pinag-add natin, ang lalabas ay negative 6. So, ano-ano ba yung factor ni positive 8 na kapag pinag-add ay negative 6? Isip kayo. So, factors is 8 multiplied by 1. Ano pa? 4 multiplied by 2 and negative 4 times negative 2. So, ano yung sum niya? So, sum of 8 plus 1 is equal to 9. So, hindi na to. Next, 4 plus 2 is positive 6. So, hindi na to. So, meaning to say, we will use negative 4 plus negative 2 is equal to negative 6. And negative 4 times negative 2 is equal to positive 8. So, meaning to say, ito na yung gagamitin natin as second term of the binary ng factor ng ating trinomial ng quadratic equation. So, negative 4 and negative 2. Sir, pwede po bang magkabaliktad negative 2 and negative 4? Yes po. Kahit pong anong sa dalawa yung mauna. Next is to write it on zero product property para makapalabas natin yung value ng bawat variable natin. So, in writing zero product property, lalagyan lang natin ng x. So, x minus 4 is equal to 0. Kaya siya zero product property. And x minus 2 equal to 0. Next step is we will eliminate negative 4 and negative 2. So, anong gagawin natin? Addition property of equality. Add both side by ng 4. So, cancel. X is equal to positive 4. Next, add both side by negative 2, positive 2. So, cancel. X is equal to positive 2. Kaya tayo gamit ng zero product property is for us para mapalabas yung roots niya or yung solution natin. We have 2 solution. Ngayon, sir, paano po namin malalaman kung tama po yung nakuha naming solution? We will just substitute the value of the roots to the equation. So, substitute natin yung 4 doon sa ating problem. 4 squared minus 6 multiplied by 4 plus 8 is equal to 0. So, 4 times 4 is 16 minus 6 times 4 is 24 plus 8. So here, 16 minus 24 negative 8 plus 8 is equal to 0. 0 is equal to 0. Meaning to say, yung 4 natin is tama. How about the 2? So, ganun din yung gagawin. 2 squared minus 6 times 2 plus 8. 2 times 2 is 4. 6 times 2 is negative 12 plus 8 is equal to 0. 4 minus 12 is negative 8 plus positive 8 is equal to 0 is equal to 0. Meaning to say, yung ginamit natin na x is equals to 4 and x is equals to 2 ay tama. So, ganun lang yung pag-solve ng quadratic equation by factoring. Bye-bye!
Hello grade 9 learners. That's all for our discussion for today. I hope you enjoy our episode only here at HALINA'T MATH-TUTO at Das Marinas North National High School. Please comment, like, and share our video for more fun and learning experience. That's all. Goodbye.